Facebook. Tonight we have an exciting guest speaker. I was introduced to Melissa through a mutual friend, Jesse Bongiorno, and what's cool with this world of natural healing and alternative healing is we get to learn from others and the tips and the lifestyles and the just healing practices that they do on a daily basis. And Melissa and I immediately hit it off, and we're really excited to collaborate on some things. And so we have an upcoming Reiki training with her where we can spend the day learning even more from her brain and her brilliance and just add something else into our arsenal of tools that can support our body. So Melissa, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I will let you take over and introduce yourself to everybody and get us started.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, with that introduction, I feel like my work here is done. I mean, I don't know if I can live up to any more of that.
I give a
wow. Thank you. The red carpet's out. I'm like royalty over here. No, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here. As Katrina mentioned, we hit it off right away. Thanks to Jesse for introducing us. And it's just been a really fun journey. And in talking with Katrina and how we could collab and how we could figure out how to continue to support each other, but more importantly, how we could continue to support each other's communities. And like her and I said, if 2020 taught us anything, it was really the importance of this community that we have via Zoom technology, everything, which I must admit, I'm not the savviest with technology. So I'm about to do a fancy screen share. So we'll see if that happens. If not, you'll just get to see me all night. But yeah, so I kind of fell down the rabbit hole of spirituality and Reiki, especially just a couple of years ago. Actually, I got into the spirituality realm about 6-7 years ago is when it really started to hit. But more importantly, my healing journey for me really happened about 5 years ago. And I just started to notice that I didn't feel well. Like I didn't feel like vitalized. I just was always tired and all these things. And so I have a real estate company as well. And yes, my husband calls me a serial entrepreneur. That's a whole other discussion. But I really noticed I was sitting across the table from these strangers and they hired me to list their house for sale. And long story short, they were selling their larger home to downsize because all of their kids, you know, they were empty nesters. Their kids were off to college. And I was sitting across from these strangers and I'm, you know, all presentation like and everything. And I start to feel the tears welling up in my eyes. And I was like, I'm crying at the table with these strangers. Like, what the heck is happening? And that is when I really started to learn that I was an empath. So that's what led me down this energy journey, was the importance of really understanding how to protect my energy. And I have to say, I'm still not an expert. I still make whoopsies and I still forget. I'm still a human being, but I have definitely learned the importance and how to protect myself. And that's really what I wanted to bring to each of you tonight, to understand that whether you're an empath or not, and if you're not familiar with what an empath is, I can feel other people's energy. So yes, if you come to me and Jean's like, okay, Mel, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling vibrant. And I'm like, no, I can feel it. So nobody can get anything past me, that's for sure. But yeah, so it's really important to understand the complexities of our energy, the complexity of our body, of our being. This machine that we live in is quite astonishing. So really understanding some of the fundamentals and the mechanics of how energetically it works, I feel is really important. So does anybody have any questions before we get started? If not, I'm going to do a share screen. And I do, FYI, I want this to be very interactive. So I know a lot of times everybody's working from home and homeschooling and sitting behind screens, but give me a little hooty hoo and we'll totally stop. And I want it to be conversational if you guys are open to that.
I love that you just said hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo.
I think that needs to go on a graphic. I'm going to use that from here on out. Hootie hoo. I have never heard that, Mel, and I'm in love. Hootie hoo.
Welcome to the
Wow.
South.
I know. I've been missing out. I need more of that. What else you got? Keep those Southern things coming.
There's no telling what may come out here tonight. So I'm just saying, please, no judgment, but
I want more. I want more.
yeah, I love it. All right. So are you able to make me the host so I can share the screen?
Yes. Yes, I
So
can.
we'll see. All right. We'll see if I can do this. Hi, Sarah. I see your face up there on the screen. I believe we've connected on Instagram. All right. Let's see if I can do this, you guys. Oh boy. I don't know. This looks different than what it did. Let's see. If I do that, you guys. All right. Let's do this. Jesse's going to be texting me on the side like, Mel, I showed you how to do
You're
this.
doing great. You're crushing
Okay.
Cheerleaders here.
Guys, I'm telling you.
Totally
Okay.
crushed it.
I told you, I don't lie to you. I'm not always the savviest. Okay. So welcome to the Soulful presentation. So I started my Reiki company about 2 years ago, and I am a Reiki master, along with a certified, I have medication. Isn't that funny? Look, see, I didn't proofread this. I'm a medication. No, I'm a meditation instructor.
I need to leave. This is the wrong group.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Anyways, okay. So if you want to connect, I have my Instagram and Facebook page there. It's just Soulful CO. I would love to stay in contact with each of you so much. That to me is the most important thing through all of this, is really connecting and answering questions and anything that everybody needs. So there's my contact info. And then I just wanted to kind of give a brief overview of what I wanted to cover today. So the main thing that we're talking about, like I said, and the importance of it. So for today's topics, we're really going to focus on the chakras. There are multiple chakras in the body. There's major and minors, depending on what you listen to, etc. They may say that there's more, but we're going to focus on the 7 major chakras, and we're going to go into that in a moment. So that's going to be the focus. You also have your aura. If you're interested or want to learn more about that, let me know. And then more importantly, after we learn about that energy body, we're going to talk about how to protect your energy and the importance of all that. And then you all are certainly the gurus on the oils to support your individual chakras, but I've hit some highlights there as well. And I think that'll really benefit you all to understand, if you don't already, what oils you need to incorporate to support your individual clients there. And then, like I said, I would love to have an open discussion or any questions at the end. So if you are not familiar with the terminology chakras, you can see there to the right of your screen that we have these 7 major chakras along the body. So the first one is the crown chakra. That's the white one you see. Now, sometimes people showcase this as more of a violet color, but it's either violet or the white. So that's your crown chakra. The purple one there is really supposed to be more of an indigo, but that's your third eye chakra. That's located between your eyebrows here. And then your throat chakra, obviously, no help there. Your heart chakra. And then your solar plexus is located right about the tummy. So think about where your rib cage comes. That's where that solar plexus is. And then your sacral chakra, the orange one, is right at your navel area. So for women, that's obviously where our reproductive system is and such there. And then your root chakra is located right about the bottom of that tailbone. Now, chakras here means disc, vortex, or wheel. So this is why it's really important to understand your energy body. So the main thing is we always have these energy wheels stirring through our body, right? Continuously moving. Now, whether we like it or not, good, bad, the ugly, when we interact with people, and this can be as simple as walking through a grocery store, you'll pass somebody. It could be your family. It could be coworkers, anybody, your neighbor. And when their energy comes across, you can take that on. Now, if you don't know how to protect yourself and how to get rid of that, especially if it's negative, which we're going to talk about how to help you with that, then you'll hold all of that energy. And then that energy is then distributed through your body. So it's distributed through those meridian lines, which are different lines that run through the body. This is, if you've ever done any Chinese medicine, reflexology, acupuncturist, they really focus on the meridians in the body. So understanding that, and then also what we're about to hit on is how, and it's interesting because in a meditation, it came to me that I needed to incorporate what each chakra, how that organ and the chakra connects in the body. So each chakra connects to either one organ, but usually multiple organs. So we're going to go into that a little bit here next. So that crown chakra here located at the top of the head. So you notice here on your screen, this is what's going to operate that upper brain, your right eye. And it influences your central nervous system, your muscular system, and your skin. So in Reiki sessions, I've had a lot of people when I'm working on their crown chakra, they'll feel like a little twitch, or they'll feel maybe a little bit of a pressure here above the right eye. And that's because we're opening, we're releasing, we're working with that energy of the crown chakra. Now, when you move to the third eye here, this is working with the ears, the nose, the nervous system, the eyes, the pituitary gland, the lower part of the brain, which obviously makes sense because it's right there. A lot of times when I work over people's eyes in Reiki, they'll also feel kind of a sense of relief here, but they also see a lot of colors. This is usually here what starts to open people up a lot because we carry so much in the mind. Now, the throat chakra here, it connects with the lungs, the thyroid, the vocal cords, the tongue, all of that going on here. Now, I do have to share a story of how I got into Reiki was because of my mother. And she was having all of these physical ailments that we even had her up to Duke Hospital, and nobody could figure out what was going on. Like literally, I can't even count how many times we were there. And I literally heard, "You were going to heal your mother." And I will share with you that not only myself in doing Reiki with my mother, but other Reiki practitioners have all mentioned her throat chakra. Now, where she had surgery was her C4, which is right at her throat chakra. And what has happened is energetically, all the years, my mom, even though obviously I love my dad, but they did not have a great marriage. And she really suppressed herself. So you'll notice a lot of people, if they're not speaking their truth, if they're holding back, also if they're excessive talkers, pay attention to what's going on physically that's bringing ailments in the body because of these different chakras. So once you understand, again, this energy body, it really starts to hone in on maybe what physical ailments you may be feeling or someone else that you know. So again, really important to stay on top of all of this and how to protect yourself and understand the energy that we all have here. So the next is your heart chakra. So obviously everything going on with the heart here, your arms, your shoulders, hands, all of that is connected here. So understanding that, no need to go into all of the stories that come up for the heart chakra there. They've been some really, especially people who have experienced grief. There's a lot of things that can kind of hang on there. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the solar plexus. So we're moving to that yellow part on the graph there. So that's right at that tummy. Now, again, as we always say, I wish I would have known then what I know now. Katrina, you already hear that one before, so you don't have to write that one down. I'll come up with something better for you later. But I personally had my gallbladder out in my early 20s. And again, doctors had absolutely no idea why that would happen because I wasn't overweight. I didn't eat a lot of, fast food. But now doing the energy work that I do, I understand the importance of what energetically I was holding on to in my gallbladder. So the solar plexus is what's going to support that liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, the diaphragm, all of these big organs here. The liver hangs on to a lot of anger. And personally for me, that's something I never thought that I was an angry person, but there always was a lot of work that I had to do there. So if you've had any trauma or any things that you're holding on to of a relationship with a family member, an old friend that you need to release, you might want to use that forgive essential oil in that spot, because that might help you out a little bit there. All right, next is that sacral chakra. So again, that's at the navel. So that is supporting the small, large intestine, baby, like we talked about for women here. There's also a lot to know about these two bottom chakras that we can talk about in a minute, because I just heard I need to do that. And then the last one here is the root chakra, again at the bottom of that tailbone. And you can see the bladder, the reproductive organs, the feet, legs, bones, teeth, and adrenals. Supporting your adrenals are very, very important. Your adrenals are located at your back, just on top of the kidneys. And I'm sure at some point you've all heard about adrenal fatigue, right? A lot of people really suffer from adrenal fatigue. I personally was one of those. I was always exhausted. I never had energy. So understanding these chakras, these energy systems in the body can help support your overall health. And maybe you have someone that comes to you that they want to purchase essential oils and they say, "Hey, I'm exhausted all the time. Like, what the heck do I do?" And maybe then that's where you have a conversation with them. Of course, we're not prescribing anything because we're not medical physicians here, but you can also give that to them to just help support them. Like I say, it can never hurt, right? It can certainly only help. But understanding the root and sacral chakra from an age perspective. I'm not sure if this is somebody via Facebook or Zoom here that needs to hear this, or maybe later, but it's important to know, let's say you were 6 years old and you had a very traumatic experience in your life. And later on down the road, you're an adult, you have familial problems, you have financial problems. These lower two chakras actually hold a lot of energy, a lot of trauma in the body. So the root chakra, if you have anyone that you know from ages 1 to 7 that's maybe had some trauma, you might want to support them with an essential oil for that chakra. Okay. And we're going to talk about that later. Same thing for that sacral chakra. You've got about that 8 to 14, 15-year-old stage, which we know, maybe it was just me when I got bubblegum stuck in my hair at the football game, that, you know, those things stick with us, right? So there's a lot of trauma. And my goodness, just going through puberty, like there's so much that these kids go through and that we've all been through. So again, using things to support these chakra systems in our body is just so awesome that we have this these days. So now that we've kind of talked about the energy system, does anybody have questions on that before we move along? Nope. No emotional outbursts yet. Okay. We might get there. Stay tuned. All right. So what I've done to start to help protect myself. So now that we've talked about our energy systems, how the heck do we support it? Which is what we're here to talk about this evening. So what I've really started to do with myself over time is a daily check-in. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, maybe I give myself a little more time, to be honest, is, you know, as soon as I wake up, I'm probably like, why did my alarm go off? But check in with yourself, right? How do you feel? Did you go to bed at a decent hour? Were you up thinking all night about what you needed to do that day? Because when you do that daily check-in, you're able to really identify and really take control of your day, right? So for me, if I wake up and I know that I feel a little off, right? I'm just not feeling great. Then I do a check-in. Do I feel like I slept well? Maybe you have a little Fitbit tracker, or my husband has a Whoop. He loves that thing. So whatever it is that you do, but check in with yourself. How did you sleep? Did you exercise the day before? Did you have enough water? I know sometimes I get so busy that I haven't had enough water, and then that bleeds into the next day. So do that check in. And then when you understand how you woke up, right? You woke up like that. It helps you overcome the obstacles that you may feel throughout the day. So for me personally, if I knew that I was a little underslept day, then I know, okay, if somebody comes to me and maybe I didn't like what they said, or I was reading into their body language or what have you, I'm then able to pause and say, okay, is this really what this person said to me? Or is it that I'm not operating at my best? And that was something that I have personally found very helpful. Now, if you wake up in a mood, which we all do from time to time, then how do we shift our energy? And, Katrina and Jesse are certainly more the gurus on this, but it's more about showing gratitude. And that's really what I've focused on is it's easy for our minds to fall down the rabbit hole of the negativity. That's just how it seems to happen. But then if we're able to show that little smidget of gratitude, that shifts our energy. And that is what raises our vibration. And then when we keep our vibration high, that is how we attract more of what we're looking for, whether that be better people you want to hang out with, whether that be meeting your sales goals, whether that be, I don't know, just being a happier person and your puppy dog wanting to come over and hang out with you instead of laying in the other room. So everybody feels that energy. There's always been a time where we walk into a room and we're just like, I don't really like their vibe. It's because you're picking up on their energy. So you don't have to be an empath to notice these things. And it's really, really important for us to protect our energy. So with that, let's talk about how to protect our energy. So certain practices that I've brought into my day to day. The first is a circle of prayer. Now, this can be whatever you want it to be. If anybody wants me to give you a circle of prayer that I say, Katrina, I'm more than happy to leave that on the Facebook page or give it to you. But pretty much what I do is I say this every day and every night. And I just say, I don't want anything that is not for my highest and best good to be brought into my circle. And that's the main thing. So starting that and protecting your energy that way is really important. And you can pray to God, you can pray to the universe, you can pray to Buddha. It does not matter. It's all about protecting your energy and the intention behind that. That is the main thing with energy, is understanding it is about the intention that you are putting behind these things. And if you decide to do the Reiki training, like Katrina said, that we have at the end of the month on the 27th via Zoom, we'll talk a lot more about that and the importance of when giving Reiki, it's about the intention of healing and love. So the next thing is grounding. Oh, good grounding. I tell you, I remember one time specifically, I was traveling and I was so flighty. I mean, I just was like, what happened to my brain? I couldn't think. I couldn't remember anything. I was just all over the place. And what I did was a grounding meditation, lickety split. I literally felt like my brain went and reattached my shoulders. So grounding your energy is so important. And I put the little tree here because what I do is I visualize a white light coming from above. I pull it through all those chakras that we talked about earlier. And when it meets the root chakra, the light splits. It goes down both legs, down into my feet. And then the feet grow tree roots. And the tree roots grow into the earth. And they grow wider and deeper. And then I just kind of sit and I just marinate in that good grounding feeling. And you will notice how much better you feel. And so I tell myself I'm as strong as this large oak tree. And then when I'm ready, I slowly retract, pull the roots back into the bottom of my feet. And then I know that if anything comes at me that day that is not serving me for my highest and best, I'm strong. I am grounded, and I'm able to handle that with success and with a clear mind. So if you have questions on that grounding, let me know later. That is a good, solid go-to for me. The next thing is the igloo. Now, kind of a funny story. I did have a girl call me a couple weeks ago, and she's like, Mel, I've done everything. I've done my circle of prayer. I've done my grounding. I've done my igloo, but my igloo is melting. So I think it was Jessie actually had shared in the Reiki course last month about she was in a space that she needed some quick energy protection. And so the quickest thing she could think about was a sleeping bag. So she went, jumped in her sleeping bag and zipped it right up. So whatever it is for you, go for it. But the point of the igloo is focusing on protecting, again, your energy. So what I do is I just take a couple of deep breaths. I visualize me stacking these little ice blocks up around, all the way to the top. And then I carve out a little door, jump out. Miraculously, there's mirrors. And this is the very important part. Whatever it is you build, you need the mirrors. Okay. So then you go outside, you stack the mirrors all around, all the way up to the top. And then you go back inside your igloo or your sleeping bag or your cave, whatever it is you're in, you shut the door. And then I had somebody tell me they're in there placing all their crystals and they're painting the walls and they're decorating and they're making it their space safe haven, right? So then when anybody's energy comes to you that is not serving you for your highest and best, it then reflects off of the mirrors and back to them. Now, this is very, very important to share. When somebody's energy comes to you and you reflect it back, I want to make sure that you send that back with love and light, because we don't want to continue to send all of this negativity, right? We're here. We want to help squash that and support other people around us, because if they're likely coming to you with negativity, it's really a cry for help, whether they recognize it or we do, but they really need that support. So if it comes to you negative, it bounces off that mirror and goes back to them with love and light. Now, I did not put it on here, but let's say you're out and about and you forget to do your igloo, you haven't grounded, you haven't done your circle of prayer. And I don't know, let's say it's via Zoom these days, right? But you're in a conference call for work and somebody comes up to you and they're just and all this negativity and all this drama. And you're like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to do this. You can simply say in your mind, return to sender. And that's all you need to do. And it's important that I share with you all that just because you're sending their energy back to them does not mean that you are not sympathetic, that you're not compassionate. It just means we have our own burdens of life to carry. We have our own life that we are trying to navigate through. So we have to support ourselves so that we can support each other, right? This is why they always say on the airplane, put your mask on first before helping others. And I know as women, we seem to be the first to always want to give, and help. And then we have nothing left. And it's really important for us to understand, if we continue to protect our energies, then we're able to deliver. We're able to be good moms. We're able to be good sisters. We're able to be great wives and co-workers and all of these things. But when we are depleted, we have nothing left to give. So really understanding that. And then lastly here, giving yourself that self-care. So however you make that commitment to yourself, please take the time, whether it's meditation, whether it's getting Reiki, whether it's going for a massage, whether it's journaling, whether it's just sitting in silence, but really take that time to self-care. Now, I have to say with this too, I have certainly been known to make things harder than what they need to be. This does not have to be, okay, I'm marking off my entire Sunday to do a whole Mel self-care day, which sounds phenomenal, by the way, but it doesn't have to be all that. It could simply be take a 15-minute bath to unwind for the day. I personally, another energy thing that I just thought about that I didn't put on here is if I've had a very busy, maybe a stressful day, I visualize the shower water running over and washing everything away, right? It's washing down the drain. I'm letting that go because I don't want to carry all those burdens. Most of the time, they're not my burdens to carry. So let it go, let it go. And you will see how you will start to really get your energy back. You'll start to feel rejuvenated. You're going to wake up and you might not need that cup of coffee. Instead, you're drinking water right out of bed instead, and you just get your life back. It feels so amazing when you really start to understand this energy. And then, so for your essential oils, again, you guys are certainly the experts on this. I know in my Soulful Mind Guru community, we've talked a lot about oils and such lately, which has been a lot of fun, and along on how to protect our energy with these. So here's a couple if you guys already don't know. And again, you're the experts, so I'm certainly open to more suggestions here on what you would like to use for these essential oils for chakras. So again, if you do have a client that you're looking to sell some oils to, reach out to me. If they have something going on, let them know, like, hey, I know a Reiki master. I'm certainly happy to reach out to her, and I'll see if she has any suggestions on maybe some things that you're experiencing, whether it be physical or emotional ailments. And then let's come together and see how we can continue to support each other on this more holistic journey. And I do want to make sure that everybody knows I'm obviously not ever discounting Western medicine, but I will tell you, in doing this energy work, I have found how amazing it is that our bodies are so smart and they house so many things that we don't need to house, and how that really creates so many physical ailments and diseases in the body. And I just think it's really important. And I think the space that you all are in and really trying to support people with this, we are doing amazing work, and it's going to be really beautiful, the outcome for a lot of people and their overall wellness here. So that, my friends, is all I got. So there's my website there, soulfulco.com. Reach out. Like I said, I would love to stay connected. If you have questions on anything, please reach out. Let me know. And that is all I've got for you on talking about energy. Does anybody have any questions on? I can't really answer a lot on the oils because, again, that's more of your wheelhouse, but any more on the chakras, the energy, Reiki, stories that I've seen that I could share, anything like that? No. Well, I must have just done a darn good job.
I love it. Thank you.
Mel, I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yes.
How do you decide which chakra is your issue? In other
Great
words, where
question.
your problem is.
So like if you're speaking about you personally.
Yes.
Okay. Do you care to divulge and share a little more on that, and maybe I could point you in the right direction, or do you want to chat on the side about that?
I guess maybe I'm not sure what I'm asking.
Okay.
In other words, Katrina and I have done emotion code,
Mhm.
and I'm wondering how that is different from chakras. And I mean, she came up with amazing things that I hadn't ever imagined would happen or
Right.
were causing issues. So I guess my question is not specifically that I have an issue I'm wondering about, but how would you figure it out?
Sure. Great question. I understand now. So I would say likely in the emotion code, there was obviously the emotion attached to an organ or some part of the body, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So wherever that was in the body, and I can send you more on the chakras if you need it, but remember you have the crown, third eye, etc. So
Right.
focus wherever, like I'm going to make it up, right? Let's say it was anger in the liver, because that's what my go-to for me. So anger in the liver, that's going to be your solar plexus.
Okay.
Okay, so if you have more questions on that, definitely reach out to me.
Okay.
We can talk more about that on how to support you for that. But and I do distant healing as well. I know for people it can seem a little kooky, but it's based on the law of hermetic similarity that we are all connected. So if you ever, any of you have questions on any of that, or you would like a distant Reiki session, we can certainly do that and see what we can release there for you too.
Okay, thank you.
You're
To
welcome.
add to that, Jean, one, like my thought on this is emotion code and Reiki go hand in hand, because emotion code is talking specific to the emotion in that area. And then Reiki is allowing the energy to flow. So to put it into the terms of having an emotion code session, this is an additional way to clear what you're finding in the emotion code to be suppressed. So I think.
Got it. Okay, that it's the emotion and the energy, and to put them together. Okay, I
Because
gotcha.
the
Thank
emotion
you.
is energy,
Right.
True.
you know, so that's the thing, to make sure that we definitely protect that. Great
One thing
question.
that's so interesting, like I had, and this is where you mentioned about like your gallbladder. For me, it was my thyroid, and I just didn't know. And then now, like, oh, it makes complete sense. But when we're just going by, not merging everything together, it seems like it doesn't correlate. So it's super cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's the more that you dive in, the more it's really fascinating. And you talking about the thyroid, I worked on this lady, it's probably about 2 years ago, and stuff came up with her throat chakra right away. And there was a lot of things going on and still going on in her marriage, where she felt like she didn't have a voice and she was very suppressed. And I actually saw her about 6 months ago, and she said, yeah, just in conversation, we weren't talking about Reiki or anything. And right away she was like, yeah, I'm on thyroid medication. And the light went off. And I said, do you remember when I brought up about your throat chakra and there's different things that were coming up there? And she's still experiencing the same things. So when you start to understand the energy, everything that we do is housed in all the cells and all the little tiny atoms in our body. It's all energy. And that's scientific, right? I didn't make that up. I wish I would have, but that was pre me. So it's really fascinating, the science that we understand of how everything is energy. This computer, my water glass, my phone, this desk, us, everything is energy. So understanding the importance of that, and how the energy that not only that we're exuding, but the energy that we're bringing in, more importantly. And then if we don't like that energy, how do we get rid of it? How do we protect ourselves?
I'll share, Melissa, just for like, I think sometimes people hearing, more testimonies is helpful too. And I love that you're sharing those in. When I was first introduced to the realm of natural healing, I was a speech pathologist, and I did pediatric sessions. And a lot of what I was going into was just really heavy living situations for these little children. And it was just a lot for my body to process. And I didn't recognize at that point in time what an empath was. It just, none of this was, information that I knew about. So I didn't understand going into these sessions that I was an empath and what was my experience was. And so by the end of the day, I would be extremely exhausted. Just my body was like, I got burnt out after only a couple of years in the practice because of this. And now in hindsight, it's so clear. But to share a testimony, I used to go with like very consistently for Reiki sessions during that point in my life. And it was an immediate, like, just to describe it as like, I would go in feeling completely exhausted, burnt out, like dreading waking up in the morning, to feeling vibrant and full and just energized. And so I think it's really a cool tool to add in and be aware that these other modalities are an amazing to support the body, and just being more aware of what the messages are that our body are signaling to us. It's awesome. So I'm so grateful for you spending time and sharing with everyone, because I think it's right in all of our wheelhouse.
No, absolutely. I mean, truly, it's my pleasure. And I think that's my journey led me down this path. And I know that, now what I'm doing in this healing space is my calling, right? That's what I'm here on this earth to do. And it's just so important to me to share with each of you the importance of this and how detrimental it can really be to our health if we don't take our energy seriously. And now understanding the headspace and what I was going through at the time in my life when I had my gallbladder taken out, like you said, it makes so much sense. And I love that Reiki gave you so much energy. Just to be transparent, I have people that they come in for Reiki sessions, and it's very emotional. I had a grown man 2 weeks ago, such a doll. Oh, just such a sweet man. But anyways, he came in and I was just simply working. Remember, I was talking about the two bottom chakras, the sacral and the root, and how those can really hold a lot of trauma, especially childhood. And I was just simply hovering over those chakras. And all of a sudden he said, "Is there a reason I would be crying?" And he is just weeping on my table. And I didn't have to know, he didn't have to share, it didn't matter. But there was trauma in his childhood that he later shared that he was energetically releasing. And I will tell you, he has a lot of back pain, discs, all this things going on back here that's connecting with that sacral and along with that root chakra. And after one session, he talked about the relief that he had not had in, he couldn't remember. So it's really, really amazing when we understand, like Jean was saying, with the emotions, and you all doing the emotion code, and how that sticks in our body, and how we can heal. We are miraculous human beings, and our bodies are so intelligent that we can heal ourselves with all these different modalities. I mean, I can't tell my mom any more than I already have, but I truly believe she did not need to have the neck and back surgeries that she had, but she did not want to be patient. And I grew up in a family where we popped pills and we did everything doctors told us to, and how many surgeries could we have to fix it? And now that will absolutely be my last resort. I will not go under the knife for anything like that unless I absolutely had to, because now I understand that I truly can heal. And there's things that I've harbored in my body that honestly I'm still trying to work through. And I've been doing this for years. And it's true when they say we're all a work in progress, because we really are. But the beautiful thing is the light at the end of the tunnel is so worth it. So worth it.
I love it. I think Melissa has a question. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yes.
So, what is the recommendation for like meditation, like through the chakras that you might use?
Sure. So I actually, the grounding that I was telling you about with the white light, I really like to use that in my meditation. And I love that you brought up the meditation. If I have time, when I have time, I spend a lot more time there in working on pulling the light. And so what I'll do in that meditation in particular is I'll feel that white light like circling over the body. And then I pull it into the third eye, and then I leave it there, and then I let it swirl. And you want to see it swirl in clockwise, so that way it's opening. So I focus on that energy. I see the light, I see it swirling. And then when I'm ready, I pull it to the throat, and then I see it swirl. I feel the warmth. I do all of that. And then I pull it through each chakra. And then the same thing with the tree roots and all that. You don't have to add the tree roots. You could just work on that circular motion there, but also focus on the sensations in your meditation when you're doing that. Because the main focus on meditation, people get all worked up about it, and they're like, oh, okay, let me breathe. Let me do all this. And they're like, crap, I forgot to pick up that at the grocery store. Okay, let me breathe, like, oh, squirrel. It's always that way, right? And then they're like, crap,
Yes.
am I meditating? Am I not? Like, oh, what's going on? But the main thing is you can meditate while washing dishes. The main focus of meditation is simply being present. And what a beautiful gift, honestly, that is. Like, how much of our lives, or are we just talking in distractions? You know, like you can do it. I'm going to say brushing my dog because she's one hairy beast and I feel like she just never stops shedding. So you could create a meditation by just brushing the dog and thinking about the hair strokes and watching the hair fall off, like everything. We can meditate throughout the day. So it doesn't have to be a big thing, but definitely for your chakras, just focus on each one, see the colors, feel the warmth. You may feel cold. That's totally normal too. You may feel a tingling sensation. And if you feel nothing at all, that's fine too. It's the same thing with Reiki. I tell everybody there's not a right or wrong way to experience it. There's not a right or wrong way for you to do your chakra meditation. It's however you perceive and you work with your own energy body. Does that help? Okay, good.
Yes, it does.
Good. Anybody else have any questions, Vicki or Sarah?
Melissa, can you share more about the training that we're doing on February 27th for, am I putting you on the spot?
No, I just laughed because I just saw in the group chat that Vicki was Googling medication instructor. Leave it to me. Thanks, Vicki.
It really made my day. I'm not gonna lie.
Calling me out. Well, then I must have put it in there for you because I swear I stared at the screen like forever. Oh my gosh. I'm only human, you know?
I loved it because we were texting beforehand about like, do a PowerPoint, don't do a PowerPoint. And it was like, I'll just do one. And then you get it there. And it was like, bam, here it is.
Right away. I was like, Mel, hello. Probably because I didn't ground my energy before. Oh, geez. But that was hilarious. So,
so anyways, for February 27th, we're doing the Reiki training, Reiki 1 certification. And I was hoping that you could maybe share in case there's someone on here or watching on in the Facebook group that's thinking about it or wondering what it is. Can you just do like a real quick synopsis of what is offered in a Reiki 1 certification?
Yeah, absolutely. So the main thing about, so I teach Usui Reiki 1, which like Katrina said, we're offering on February 27th, which is a Saturday. It's an all-day course. So it's 9:30 to 5:30 Eastern time. And what we will cover is the history of Reiki, which is absolutely phenomenal. We'll dive into more of the energy body. So those of you that really had more of those chakra questions, that might really be interesting to you to understand those, and more learning more for your clients too about if they're having imbalances in those chakras, how that can be showcased via emotions, physical ailments, etc. So that's the majority of that class. But the main thing is you receive the Reiki attunement. And that is where it will differentiate you from any other practitioner that does any hands-on healing. Because what it does is it opens up your crown chakra. It allows this Reiki energy to flow through you and then through your hands to others. It is a very, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it is so holy moly. Like after every single attunement, I feel like I can just do somersaults all day long. Like the energy that I feel is just absolutely incredible. And it's been interesting to watch everybody who took the class, whatever it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and how they're already working on their dogs and they're working on their plants and, their family members and friends. And it's really interesting when you start to work with that energy and receive that attunement, and you'll start to notice, how you perceive other people's energy different, I would say as well, and how you connect with people differently after receiving that attunement. But the main thing is learning the energy body and how to give Reiki to yourself, which is really nice. So doing, here, we'll go over some of those hand positions and then how to put hand positions on other people when you're working on them. So a question on Facebook, are there reasons for disc issues besides childhood trauma? That can be a tough one. I would honestly, whoever that is for on Facebook, I would need to tap in for a Reiki session on that to know. And I would say it also depends on what disc it's at. Back, if that person wants to reach out and chat more, I would love to talk about that. But yeah, it very well could be, because depending on the back, like for instance, I know somebody else that I worked on, they had, I'm going to mess it up, but anyways, like mid back issues. And in working with her, I realized very quickly that she was holding a lot of grief in her heart chakra, because your heart chakra comes back here, right? So these different placements in the body, again, it goes back to the emotions that we could be housing. So that might answer that person's question on the discs in the back, but if not, definitely let me know. Is it possible for a session after this tonight? Normally, I would love to, but I have a very early rising morning. So, but I would love to schedule one. Absolutely. It's amazing. And I don't advertise it because I don't want it to scare anybody, but I am intuitive. I've done a lot of work with that development, and I can't always guarantee anything, but there's a lot of things that come up in Reiki sessions that is not traditional Reiki. So I don't have to share that with people during a Reiki session, but I have found it very helpful as well for others who are seeking that little extra. That's why Jessie says she comes to me for Reiki all the time, because she's like, I can get Reiki anywhere, but I love the extra.
Can you flop us back to your contact information just real quick? I want to post it in the Facebook group as well.
Yeah.
People
Oh, shit. Are you going to leave medication room up there too?
you know, we can
Medication
medication instructor, you know, it's
Let me
completely
see. Let me see. I mean, you want me to do all this fanciness?
you can just
I
if you
think I
want.
got it. Look at that. There it is. Okay. Present. There you go. You can just take the little snippet at the corner or keep it. It's really funny.
I love it. I gotta figure out how to do it. So you know what? I'm just gonna type it so it will be completely gone. No one will see because I have to.
Oh, that's fine. I was going to say, I can always screenshot it and send it to you on my end.
Yeah.
If that's
I think we're
I
good.
could talk energy and Reiki all day. So anybody that wants to reach out thereafter, please, please, please do not hesitate. It's so fun. So fun. When
So
we
there
start to
is
really
just to finish up for the 27th. On the 27th, there is a Facebook event. If you haven't seen it, you can reach out to me and I'll connect you with how to register for that. I'm going to be hanging out and doing it. So if you want to come hang out with Mel and I, it's where the cool kids are going to be on the February 27th.
That's right. Yeah, and you can do it total Zoom style. You know, you can have your PJ pants on the bottom and fancy on top, or just rock your PJs. It's totally fine. No dress code required. And something else about that too is I will send you a Reiki manual that I wrote for that course. And then I'll also send you an additional book that I kind of teach out of. And then I'll also give you recommendations of books that I've read that I found really helpful that will help support you after you get certified. And then we also have a members only Reiki Soulful group as well. And, you know, like I said, I'm all about staying connected and supporting each other. So I'm actually calling it a Reiki reunion. So we're going to do that in March. And so once a quarter, we're all going to jump on a Zoom call like this and just, you know, conversate about Reiki, share stories, ask questions, support each other. So I'm really excited to offer that and keep everybody up to date and supporting everybody. And they don't, just because you get Reiki 1 doesn't mean you have to go out and, you know, start working on everybody. It's more importantly, I feel, to learn how to work on yourself and support yourself. So this person asking about their discs, right? Then I'm like, hey, get that Reiki going, work on your body, heal, start working on yourself. I have to say it was a year ago, actually, just last weekend. I was out of town and I got a wonderful spout of food poisoning. And I just kept getting sick, of course. And then I was like, what am I doing? Hello, Mel, pay attention, use your Reiki. And so I would start to doze off, and then I would wake up because I was feeling nauseous again. And so I placed my hand on my forehead to relax the mind and letting my sensors know, nope. And then I would place my hand on my stomach. And I kid you not, as soon as I started giving Reiki to myself and I started feeling nauseous, it went away. And when it would come up again, same thing, went away. And the book that I will provide for you all in that Reiki course as well will give you extra. There's like, I'm going to make it up, probably, I think there's 25 other little tidbits on how to heal. Like if you have somebody who's nauseous, if you have somebody who has an ear infection, like all these different things that you can use your Reiki to help heal yourself and other people too, that might be in your household or a friend or coworker or what have you. But the health benefits of Reiki is really amazing too, because what it does is, think about a creek and you have a nice flow of water in the creek, and then you go to walk through the creek, and what does it do, right? It stirs up those sediments in the bottom, and that's what Reiki does to our body. It stirs the toxins that are up in our body, and it doesn't matter how clean we eat, our environment, all of that. We're still breathing, eating, putting toxins on our skin a lot of times. So Reiki will help your body eliminate those toxins that we have taken in. So the health benefits of Reiki is really, really wonderful. Besides the other, healing of emotions and the stress relieving anxiety. I mean, I had one girl text me after 3 sessions, she on her own, which I told her she might still want to check in with her doctor, but she went off of her anxiety medication. So it's really, really amazing how Reiki can just change your life.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mel. This was wonderful. Thank you for your time tonight and sharing.
Oh, you're so
all of
welcome.
us.
It's my pleasure. I love making new friends. I tell my husband, I'm always accepting new friends.
Well, thank you very much. It's been
Yeah,
very
this
good.
is great.
You're so welcome. And yeah, if any of you want to reach out, I think most of you are probably not local. So if you want to do a distant session, let me know. All the information's on my website, but Katrina is going to post my additional info there. So please feel free to reach out. If anybody has any more questions, make sure to follow me on Instagram or Facebook. I'm more usually involved on Instagram, but definitely follow. I would love to follow you and support your journey, support your business any way that I can. So that's what we're here to do. I love it.
Your website is soulfulco.com, right?
Yeah, but make sure it's full, F-U-L-L.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the soul is full.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. I just posted that in the Facebook group too. So for anybody that needs it after the fact.
Awesome. Well, such a true pleasure, you lovely ladies. I cannot wait to continue to connect with all of you more. And if you have more questions about the Reiki course, let me or Katrina know. I've tried to make it really affordable. It's $175. If people need to make payments, let me know. I'm not going to let money get in the way of somebody that's really called to experience Reiki. So you just reach out to me and we'll sort it.
Cool. Awesome. Yay.
Well, you're so welcome. And I'll let this medication instructor go on to bed here.
Cool. Oh, you're so fun. This is great. And thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.